Far away in the cold, dark space, the human colony of New Dawn orbited a small blue star. It was a quiet place, far from the busy parts of the galaxy. People there worked hard to build homes, grow food, and explore the stars. They lived with hope and dreams for a better future. Commander Daewon was in charge of the colony's defense. He was strong and calm, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Beside him, Hana, the communications officer, kept the lines open between the colony and the rest of human space. One day, without any warning, the calm silence was broken. The sky above the colony lit up with strange shapes, alien ships. They moved fast and quiet like shadows falling over the stars. The Volcari had come. The Volcari were fierce and cruel hunters from a distant part of the galaxy. They had attacked other worlds before, and now they had found the humans. At first, many people could not believe what was happening. The colony's alarms screamed, waking everyone from their daily lives. Families ran for shelter, soldiers rushed to their posts, and the colony's machines started working at full speed. Daewon stood tall on the command deck. His voice was steady when he spoke over the loudspeakers. "Stay calm. Prepare to defend. We will not give up our home." Hana's fingers moved quickly over her console, trying to understand the Volcari ships. The signals were strange and hard to read. The Volcari used technology humans had never seen. Their ships were covered in thick armor that shined black under the starlight. They carried weapons that fired fast and burned bright. June, the colony's engineer, looked at the damage reports coming in. The first strike had hit the power station. Lights flickered and then went out in some parts of the colony. Water pumps stopped. The people were scared, but the colony's backup systems kicked in. June shouted orders to his team. "We need to fix the power lines now. Without energy, we cannot fight." Outside the command center, soldiers armed with laser rifles took positions. Among them was Mira, the strategist. She was young but smart. She quickly studied the Volcari attack patterns on her tablet. The aliens moved in waves, trying to break through the colony's shields. Each wave was stronger and faster. Hyun, a scout, watched the enemy from a high tower. His eyes narrowed as he saw the strange shapes of the Volcari. They did not look like any creatures humans had met. Their skin was rough like bark and their eyes glowed red. Their weapons were deadly and precise. The colony's shields hummed as they absorbed the first blasts. But the Volcari were too many. The shields began to weaken. Daewon made a hard decision. Divert all available power to the shields. Prepare the defense drones. We must hold the line. Soo-jin, the medic, prepared the medical bay for the injured. She knew this fight would be long and hard. People were already arriving with burns and cuts from the first attack. The colony fought back with what they had. The drones flew up and fired at the alien ships, but many were destroyed quickly. The humans' weapons were not as powerful as the Volcari's. Still, the defenders showed no fear. They moved like one body, protecting their home. During the chaos, Daewon saw a group of civilians trapped near the outer farms. The Volcari ships were closing in. Without hesitation, he ordered a rescue team. "Hyun, take your squad and get those people out. Use the old tunnels if you must." Hyun nodded and led his team through the dark paths beneath the colony. They reached the frightened families just as the ground shook from distant explosions. The rescue was tense and quick. Everyone moved together, helping each other. For the first time, the humans saw that even in fear, they could be brave. Back on the Tau. Command deck. Hana's screen blinked with strange messages. The Volcari were trying to communicate, but the language was unknown. She worked fast to decode the signals. "They want us to surrender," she said, eyes wide. Daewon shook his head. "We will never surrender. We fight to live." In the next hours, the battle grew fiercer. The colony's defenses held, but the cost was high. Buildings were damaged, crops burned, and people were tired. Still, the humans refused to give up. June and his engineers worked through the night repairing broken systems. Mira planned new strategies using the terrain and old tunnels to outsmart the enemy. Soo-jin tended to the wounded, giving hope with her calm words and steady hands. The Volcari expected an easy victory. They thought humans were weak and slow. But they did not know the strength that came from Earth's history, from survival through fire and war. They had never faced an enemy like this before. At one point, a Vokari ship tried to land troops on the colony surface. Daewon led a small team to fight them off. The battle was fierce and close. Jun fired his plasma rifle with steady aim. Hyun moved fast, dodging enemy strikes to protect his friends. Mira gave commands, keeping everyone focused. In the end, the humans pushed the invaders back. The Vokari troops retreated to their ships, surprised and angry. That night, the colony was quiet again, but the stars still burned with danger. The humans gathered around small fires, sharing stories and hopes. Commander Daewon walked among them, proud but aware. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "We have fought well, but the enemy will return." Hana joined him, her voice tired but strong. "We will be ready." Far above, the Vokari ships waited, planning their next move. They had attacked to take what they wanted, but they did not expect humans to fight back with such heart and courage. The battle for New Dawn was just starting, and the humans were not going to lose. The morning sun rose slowly over the colony of New Dawn. The sky was clear, but the air was heavy with tension. The attack of the Vokari the day before had shaken everyone. Buildings still smoked, and soldiers patrolled the streets. But the people of New Dawn were not broken. Instead, something stronger grew inside them. The human spirit had awakened. Commander Daewon stood on a hill overlooking the colony. He watched as people repaired homes and cleared debris. Children played near the fields, laughing even though their world had changed. Daewon felt a quiet pride. These people were not just survivors. They were fighters. Inside the command center, Mira sat at her table with a map spread before her. She studied the attacks carefully. The Vokari were powerful, but predictable. They attacked in waves, trying to overwhelm defenses. Mira saw a way to turn this to their advantage. "We can use their own tactics against them," she told Jun, the engineer. "If we set traps and ambushes, we can slow them down." Jun nodded. He was already working on new ideas for weapons and defenses. "I have some old drones from the mining team. If we modify them, they can be used to scout and attack." Together, they formed a plan. The engineers and soldiers would work day and night to prepare. The humans had little compared to the Vokari, but they had something more important: courage and cleverness. Outside the command center, Hyun and his scout team returned from a mission. They had gone beyond the colony walls to find Vokari patrols. Hyun's face was tired but bright. "We saw their supply lines," he reported. "If we cut them off, the Vokari will run low on energy." Daewon listened carefully. "Good work. We will plan a strike." The people of New Dawn were ready to fight back. The attacks had made them stronger. Even civilians helped, sharing food and information. Sujin, the medic, worked with volunteers to care for the wounded and train others in first aid. One afternoon, Jun gathered his team in the workshop. Sparks flew as they repaired drones and built new devices. He showed them a small flying drone, covered in metal plates. "This little one can fly close to the Vokari ships and send back pictures," he explained. "It will help us see their movements." The engineers smiled and worked faster. The human mind was sharp when faced with danger. Meanwhile, Mira and Daewon trained the soldiers in new tactics. They practiced moving quietly through the tunnels and hiding in the forests. The soldiers learned to strike quickly and disappear before the enemy could respond. Daewon looked at his team with respect. "We are the shield of this colony. We protect our homes and families." On the other side of the colony, Hana worked at the communications console. She listened for any signals from other human colonies or ships. She hoped for help, but knew they might be alone for some time. Suddenly, a strange message came through. It was weak but clear enough to hear. "This is the ship Horizon from Sector 7. We received your distress call. Help is on the way." Hana smiled for the first time in days. She quickly sent the message to Daewon. "Commander, reinforcements are coming. We must hold until they arrive." The news gave the people new hope, but they still faced the Vokari every day. The next Vokari attack came at dusk. Their ships darkened the sky like a cloud. The humans waited, ready. When the first wave of ships fired, the modified drones flew up, weaving through the enemy fleet. They sent back images and attacked weak spots. June watched the screens with a smile. It's working. The soldiers moved through the tunnels, setting traps and ambushes. Mira's plan was in action. The Vokari were slowed and confused. Hyun's team struck at supply lines, destroying fuel stores and weapons caches. The Vokari grew angry and desperate. On the battlefield, Daewon fought with fierce determination. He led his soldiers in close combat when needed and gave orders calmly. His voice was a beacon in the chaos. Soo-jin treated the injured quickly, refusing to let anyone lose hope. Her steady hand saved many lives. As the battle raged, the humans showed something the Vokari had not seen before. They fought not just to survive, but to protect their home and each other. The humans' unity was their strength. After hours of fighting, the Vokari ships began to retreat. The humans had won this battle, but the war was far from over. That night, the colony gathered around fires, sharing food and stories. They sang old songs and told tales of Earth's history. Even in the darkest times, humans found light. Daewon spoke to the crowd. We have shown the galaxy what it means to be human. We are not weak. We are strong. And we will fight for every star we call home. The people cheered, their spirits lifted. Hana looked at the stars, thinking about the future. Help was coming, but they must be ready for whatever the Vokari would do next. In the quiet moments before sleep, Mira reviewed her plans again. The humans were learning fast. The Vokari had attacked, but they had awakened a fire. The human spirit had ignited, and it would burn bright. The days after the last battle were filled with hard work and quiet preparation. The humans of New Dawn knew the Vokari would not give up easily. Their enemy was fierce and determined, but so were they. Commander Daewon gathered his team in the command center. The room was busy with activity. Maps and screens showed the positions of the Vokari ships and the colony's defenses. We have learned much from their attacks, Daewon said, but now it is time to take the fight to them. Mira stood beside him, her eyes bright with determination. We found a weakness in their bioshield technology, she explained. Their shields protect them well, but they have blind spots. If we can hit those spots, we can break through. June nodded. My engineers have been working on weapons that can penetrate those shields. They are ready for testing. Outside the command center, soldiers prepared for the coming mission. Daewon chose his best pilots and warriors. Among them was Hyun, the scout who knew the land and enemy well, and Soo-jin, ready to care for the wounded. The humans worked quickly to build a small fleet of ships from old mining vessels and transporters. The ships were not as fast or strong as the Vokaris, but they were ready to fight with heart. As the sun set, the fleet gathered in the space just outside the colony's orbit. Daewon looked at the stars beyond and spoke quietly. This is our chance to change the course of this war. We fight for our home and our future. The fleet moved out, leaving the safety of the colony behind. The journey to the Vokari mothership was tense. Everyone knew the risks. The Vokari had thousands of ships and the humans had only a few dozen. When the fleet reached the enemy, the Vokari ships were ready. They fired powerful beams of energy, trying to destroy the human vessels before they could get close, but the humans were prepared. June's new weapons struck at the blind spots in the Vokari shields. Explosions rocked the enemy ships. The humans' attacks were small but precise. Mira directed the fleet, moving them in patterns that confused the Vokari. The enemy could not predict where the next strike would come. Daewon led a small group of ships toward the mothership itself. It was enormous, a dark fortress in space. The battle was close and dangerous. Inside the mothership, the Vokari commanders were surprised. They had never faced such a bold attack. Their communications were scrambled by Mira's hacking team. Confusion spread through their forces. Hyun's scouts flew into the mothership's defenses, disabling power systems and opening the way for the human fighters. The fighting was fierce. Many ships on both sides were destroyed. The humans lost friends, but they pressed on. On board Daewon's ship, alarms blared. The shields were failing. He gave orders calmly. Focus fire on the main power core. We must break their defense. The crew worked together, firing their strongest weapons at the heart of the mothership. Finally, the core exploded in a bright flash. The mothership shook and began to lose power. The Vokari fleet started to fall back, retreating into the darkness of space. The human fleet cheered their victory, but they knew the fight was not over. The mothership was damaged but still alive. Back at New Dawn, the people watched the battle from their screens. They celebrated the courage of their warriors. For the first time, they saw that the Vokari could be beaten. Sujin treated the injured with relief. "We have made a difference," she said softly. Hana sent messages to other human colonies. The news of the battle spread quickly. The galaxy began to take notice of the humans' strength. But Daewon warned his team. "This victory is just the start. The Vokari will return stronger and angrier." Mira nodded. "We must keep learning, keep fighting." That night, the stars shone brightly over New Dawn. The humans had turned the tide of war. They had shown that even against a powerful enemy, the human spirit could not be broken. And in the dark silence of space, the Vokari prepared for their next attack, knowing that the humans were not the easy prey they once thought. The victory over the Vokari mothership had lifted the spirits of the colony, but Commander Daewon knew the war was far from over. The enemy would come back with new weapons and greater fury. The humans had to prepare not only to defend, but to strike back with power. June gathered his team in the workshop. For weeks they had been working on a secret project, a swarm of small drones controlled by an advanced artificial intelligence. The drones were fast and smart. They could move like birds in the sky, attack as a group, and learn from each battle. "This drone swarm will be our greatest weapon," June said with hope. "It can fly into enemy ships, confuse their systems, and cause real damage." Mira studied the Vokari signals and found new patterns in their attacks. The Vokari use their communications to coordinate. If we can jam their signals, we can make them fight among themselves. Hana worked on broadcasting a message to the galaxy. She wanted other species to hear that humans were no longer weak victims. "This message will warn others. We want peace, but we will fight if needed." The colony prepared for the next battle with careful planning. Soldiers trained with the new drones. Engineers fixed ships and made weapons stronger. The people of New Dawn stood united. One evening, the Vokari fleet returned, larger and more aggressive than before. Their ships filled the sky, black shapes ready to strike. Daewon stood on the command deck, calm and ready. "Release the drones," he ordered. The sky above the colony was soon filled with hundreds of small flying machines. The drones moved quickly, weaving through the enemy ships. They attacked engines and weapons, causing explosions and confusion. June watched the control screens. "The swarm is working better than we hoped. They are hitting the Vokari where it hurts." The Vokari ships tried to fight back, but their systems were slowed and broken by the drones. Their ships collided and fired on each other by mistake. The human message broadcasted by Hana rang loud across space. "This is the human colony New Dawn. We fight for peace and survival. Do not attack us, or you will face the same fate." The message shocked many in the galaxy. The humans were no longer the easy targets the Vokari believed them to be. On the battlefield, soldiers led by Daewon moved swiftly. They used the chaos to strike at the enemy ships. Hyun and his scouts flew dangerous missions to disable enemy weapons and rescue captured humans. Sujin cared for the wounded, her calm voice a comfort in the storm of war. She treated burns, cuts, and broken bones with skill and kindness. The Vokari grew desperate. Their fleet weakened and began to retreat. The humans did not stop chasing them, pressing the advantage. The battle was fierce but short. The Vokari lost many ships and lives. The humans had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with. After the battle, Daewon addressed the colony. "Today we have not only defended our home, but sent a clear message to the galaxy. We will fight for our place among the stars." Hana received messages from other alien races. Some offered help and friendship. Others watched carefully, wary of the new power humans had shown. Mira and June began planning for the future. The drone swarm was only the beginning, Mira said. We must keep improving. June smiled. We will be ready for whatever comes next. The people of New Dawn celebrated quietly. They knew the road ahead would be hard, but their courage and hope were stronger than ever. As the stars shone bright above, humans looked to the future with new strength. The Retaliation had begun, and the galaxy would never forget the name of humanity. After the fierce battles and hard-won victories, the colony of New Dawn began to heal. The once quiet settlement was now a place of strength and hope. The people worked side by side, rebuilding homes, repairing ships, and growing food for the future. Commander Daewon walked among them, proud but aware that their fight was not yet over. The Vokari had retreated, their fleet broken and scattered. They no longer saw humans as weak prey, but as a new threat in the galaxy. Other alien races watching, from afar, began to change their view of humanity. The humans were no longer just explorers or settlers. They had become warriors and protectors of their space. Daewon met with his team in the command center. Mira and June were already planning the next steps. We must strengthen our defenses and build new alliances, Mira said. The galaxy is watching. Some will want peace, others may try to challenge us. June nodded. Our technology is improving fast. The drone swarm, new weapons, and better ships will help us stay strong. Hana worked to send messages across the galaxy. Her broadcasts spoke of humans' courage and willingness to defend their homes. Many responded with messages of respect and friendship. One day, a small alien ship arrived at New Dawn. From it came representatives of the Rykari, a peaceful species known for their wisdom. Their leader, Korra, spoke kindly to Daewon. We have watched your fight with great interest. Your strength and spirit remind us of our own history. We come to offer friendship and alliance. The people of New Dawn welcomed the Rykari with open arms. Together, they shared knowledge and resources. The humans learned new ways to travel and communicate. The Rykari saw that humans had much to offer in courage and determination. With new friends and stronger defenses, the colony grew. New settlers arrived from other parts of human space, bringing skills and hope. The farms flourished, and the ships grew more powerful. But even as peace returned, Daewon knew the galaxy was full of challenges. The Vokari might recover and return. Other dangers waited in the darkness of space. He gathered his team again. We have made a new beginning, but we must remain vigilant. Our strength comes not just from weapons, but from our unity and will to protect what we love. Mira smiled. The galaxy has seen what humans can do. They will think twice before attacking us again. June added, and we will be ready for anything. The people of New Dawn looked up at the stars with hope. Their home was safe for now. But more than safety, they had earned respect. The humans had shown the galaxy that they were fighters who would never give up. As the sun set over the rebuilt colony, Commander Daewon stood with Hana, Mira, June, Hyun, and Sujin. Together, they watched the stars shine bright. This is only the beginning, Daewon said. The galaxy is wide and our story has just begun. Hana smiled. Whatever comes next, we face it together. And so the humans of New Dawn prepared for the future, a future where they were no longer just survivors, but a powerful force in the vastness of space. Their fight had made them stronger, and their courage had earned them a place among the stars. The galaxy would remember the day when humans stood tall, fought back, and claimed their right to be there.